This is going to be part one of my clock making series. I got this drill press, cheap, small, and then I got this little rotary table off eBay, like 20 bucks, 30 bucks. I went ahead and did some modifications to it so that it will be actually usable. We can go over those modifications I made now. From the factory, it came with this little fastener here that holds the back, and then it was drilled for the tap size of this thread all the way through. So I went ahead and enlarged that to 1/4 inch down to where the thread starts, and that way we can take this large threaded bolt and it can go all the way through, and that will give us something to index on the other side and also give us a way to clamp to the table without using those T-bolt clamps. Not sure if you can see that, but I've got the machine screw up in the drill press because I do not have a lathe, so we're going to be using this file to shape the machine screw for what we need. I'll show you more details about this once I'm done shaping it. Pretty chintzy setup, but since I don't have a lathe, this is going to have to do. A little bit of oil on there. What we're doing here is we're going to set the drill press to maximum RPM, and then we're going to press the head of the screw into this file just to take a little bit off the top. Okay, well that was kind of horrible and made an awful noise, but I think it did actually work. So let's check out the part. We've made the head of the screw completely flat. It used to be a button head, and then we've added a little bit of a chamfer on the underside here. So now when we get this thing put together here, there's this little washer seats inside this bearing, and there's a countersink in it, and this angle that we put on here fits into the countersink nicely, and now we are just under being flush with that. So this will sit level on a flat surface with no problems. So from the factory, this thing came chock full of just nasty grease. It was separating out into solids and liquids. So I wiped that all off with a paper towel and went ahead and just got some regular old white lithium grease, and we're going to grease this up and put it back together, making sure that everything is tight and there's no slop. A bit of a Goldilocks situation now, because we need to tighten this screw enough to fully seat the table so that it is running flat, but if we draw it too far into the bearing it will start to bind. So we're just going to tighten this a little bit at a time, and hopefully we don't have to hammer it back out. Okay, so we've got this torqued down to where the table is not easy to turn, but it's certainly not binding. So I think we're going to call that good, and there's going to be no slop in the top of the table. Okay, so let's grease up the worm gear and the bushing that it rides in and see how this is going to turn out. Okay, so we've got the rotary table all back together now, and it seems like it will function just fine. So what we've gone ahead and done here is we've made this screw go all the way through, and now for marking out gears we can put our material in there and then clamp it in, and then index, drill, index, and that is more or less how we are going to be making the gears for the clock. That concludes part 1 of this project. For the next video I may try using a different recording setup. Let me know what you guys think.